around this country, and for that matter around the world, are reacting tonight to the terrible news of the death of Robin Williams. A statement from his wife confirming his death alludes to his battle with depression, and now we know why. The 63-year-old actor and comedian died of an apparent suicide. He was among the most beloved contemporary American entertainers, a product of the Juilliard School here in New York, a veteran of improv and stand-up comedy, who then won an Oscar for a serious movie role in Good Will.
Word of an untimely death. Kurt Cobain was the lead singer of the group Nirvana. Their albums were bestsellers, their songs filled with images of despair and violence. One lyric, "The sun is gone, but I have a light. The day is done, but I'm having fun." And then this morning, his body found at home, another casualty of success. Here's ABC's Tom Foreman.
As lead singer, songwriter, and guitar player for Nirvana, Kurt Cobain defined the rough rock sound.
Mental health is kind of like for me, I always thought it was a huge issue that never really got talked about with a lot of people. And, you know, it's kind of a subject that's really hard to talk about. For me, I struggled with it for years, and never really had much people to talk about it with. But I try making a point to talk about it because I never really had the chance when I was younger, and that still kind of hurts me today, and probably does for a lot of people when they don't talk about it. And so, personally, I think it's a very large issue that goes pretty unnoticed, especially in youth and even adults. No matter what gender, no matter what age, I wouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people go through mental health issues, especially depression.
The U.S. Surgeon General calls it the defining public health crisis of our time, mental health. 1 in 5 adults experience mental illness every year. Depression rates are at an all-time high. A third of adults report being diagnosed with depression sometime during their lifetimes, a figure that is rising. Nearly 50,000 Americans died by suicide last year, more than any year on record. The president says we are falling short.
I struggled with depression for many years. I don't know how long. I got diagnosed back in 2020. And it's a struggle for sure, but it just takes getting used to finding your own coping mechanisms that work for you. Things work differently for people. For me, I figure my own thing, and I struggled with not wanting to be here. And of course, everyone's experience is different. Not saying mine is worse than other people. It's terrible. It's a terrible idea to compare people's mental health to other people's. And so, the best I could do right now is try to spread knowledge about it, or just spread awareness to it. That was the word I was looking for. And that's about it. And so for mental health, any advice I could give to people struggling with mental health is just, does it get better? Sometimes it does. It's not always, determined. If it gets better, it really depends on what you do. Nobody can force your mental health to go away like that. It depends what you do to work on it. Either you can just sit around and do nothing, or seek help help can only go as far as you let it. And that's kind of what I realized. For me, things have been getting better for me. And it's very bright now. And just that it really just takes time.
So, what are your experiences about mental health and what's your knowledge about mental health?
Some of my experiences with going through mental health, either challenges or successes, is a variety of just anxiety. I get a lot of panic attacks. That's led to various, addictions of a variety of forms. So I think overall, I've experienced ups and downs, but I think my knowledge has come through with gaining tools and skills for regulation of just emotional, not necessarily stability in a bad way, but just not staying stuck in anything too long, perhaps moving through an emotion, not just dwelling on it, and kind of not listen to my brain always, or listen to the thoughts that I have, because that oftentimes can be misleading as well. So I think just through trials and errors, I've learned coping skills in order to feel more sane.
You know what doesn't take courage though? Sitting back talking shit. Talking down on people who are trying to do something for their lives. Be somebody in this world. It's the people that are willing to go out there and go after it. It's a lot of courage to do something like that. Put yourself out there like that. Don't be afraid to be seen trying. Because when that boulder starts going, it's hard to slow it down. That's just how it works. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that guy down there, being that type of dude who just spews negativity towards people out there, trying to get in it, trying to make something out of their lives, trying to be better people. You gotta uplift each other out here. People have to be more positive. Negativity doesn't make the world better. It just makes it worse. And I think that's one of the biggest problems that now society deals with. But I know it's an easy solution. And I know that we can do better. Do you have any advice for people who are dealing with mental illness?
Yeah, so some advice that I would say I could give, it's only from my perspective, and it depends what severity of mental crisis you're going through. Sometimes when you have, like for me, I have some chemical imbalances that lead me towards more anxious behaviors. And so when you have something that is not in your control that's affecting you, it can be a little bit more tough. But I think nonetheless the tools of for me, movement really helps. When I get a really habitual workout routine, whether it be super intense workout, which I enjoy, but sometimes I don't have the mental capacity for that consistency. At least going for a walk or being separated by some way from just sitting around feeling stressed with the environment. So yeah, when I don't do that, I see a difference. I really like, it's not as convenient, but hot saunas really help me. Just for some reason, just being in there for an hour and just the intense heat and just the sweating of it, I don't know, it regulates my system really well. And then oftentimes I'll go into a cold bath after. For some reason, I maybe it's just how my body works, but that really helps me stay the most balanced when I'm doing that consistently. Otherwise, it's just doing kind things for yourself, you know, taking a break and watching a movie. You know, if that's something that brings you comfort, I think to allow yourself to do that and not like talk down to yourself or any other thing that brings you comfort. But when you ignore yourself, that's when the spiral happens, in my opinion.
You know what doesn't take courage though? Talking behind people's backs and not really knowing what they're going through. Talking to people who are really going to get through themselves. Be somebody in this world. It's the people that are willing to take and go out there and go after it. It takes a lot of courage to do that. Don't be afraid to be seen trying. You know, and because when that boulder starts rolling, it's hard to make it stop. And that's just how it works. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be out there just spewing negativity around people, just trying to make it in. You're trying to get it in for themselves. You're trying to make something out of their lives. You gotta be better people out here. You gotta uplift each other.